What's up, everyone? This is Roman from Hydra Painting. Uh, Probably my monthly video. Actually, no, I didn't do anything for February, so my bad. I've been really busy. Um, but I've been working on this at the very end of February. This is my display board for the California Team Championship that's coming up in March, I believe. When this video gets posted, it will be next weekend. So, yeah, that's fun. Um, Sorry for the outside noise and everything. I'm doing this in my garage, which is a mess, by the way, because I've just been tearing everything apart in this garage. But this is the board itself. It is a 30 by 60, so this is a little bit more than half of a 40K table because I'm expecting to put 5 full armies on here. Uh, One of those is going to be obviously mine, which is my orcs. I'll have a green tide, so it's over 166 models ready to go on this board. Then my two teammates will have Imperial armies. We have Space Marines, and then we have Grey Knights. And then the last two are going to be two Chaos armies, Chaos Knights, and Chaos Space Marines. But it's more of a Chaos cult. There's a lot of cultists. He's probably rocking around more models than I am. I think he has closer to 200 cultists. So that's going to be very interesting to have probably almost 400 models on this board itself. So I'm excited, but before all of this madness, I did go to Palm Springs. I think my last video was getting my board ready for Palm Springs, and I did pick up a shiny trophy here for best display at the event, and I kind of just wanted to talk about making a display and what goes into it, what you kind of really need if you want to make a display for an event, if you're like going out to competitive events or like any kind of army showcases. So I just wanted to first thank everyone that's been enjoying my content. The reason I like to do this is not only because I like to build dumb shit, but I like to be inspired and inspire people. So and if you guys watch or like my videos wherever, that helps out too. Or if you just see me in person, I've been known like in like the West Coast as the orc boat guy because I'll go to events and I'll just pick up awards, which is cool, but like I'm more than a boat guy. So but it's nice anyways. um, I also picked up this best in faction coin for ITC. It's for hobby. I'm like a really shitty orc player, so this was just for hobby. I got the most points out of everyone in the circuit, so that's pretty cool. I'm not super familiar with ITC, but I think that's what, like, worldwide or something, or just within the states. So to have the best looking orcs according to this metric is very interesting. It's I know there's a lot of better, cooler things out there than what I have, but for me to go and show it off and to compete, it's nice. So thank you for those again that support me and watch my stuff. I really appreciate it. So the board itself, 60 by 30. I just got the sand down and I got the sealer, so it's like, ooh, shaking. It's really like one solid piece now. It's about two. Well, there's two layers of foam that I use. It's XPS foam, and I get it all at Home Depot. I use 2 inch and 1 inch, so you can kind of see the differences. Let me just pick this bad boy up here and show you. So like right here would be the 2 inch. Right there's a 1 inch, and then you can obviously tell the layering. For my basing, I usually just grab a sandbag from the street, and that's what I've been using. So, yeah, unethical life hack: if you just go to a construction site and just pick up a bag of sand, then it's spacing material and it's free. No one cares. Anyways, I did this little like Prometheum pipe relay thing just to like bulk this thing up. This is some weird obelisk thing I'm working on here. So this was all done by hand. I didn't use a hot wire cutter. Of course, it's done by hand. I didn't use a hot wire cutter. I used the buzz saw. I cut everything here with a buzz saw, by the way, like all the edges and stuff. My hot wire cutter, like, shit itself like right at the start of this project. So it's literally just been like using a buzzsaw, which probably wasn't the safest method. It created a lot of dust, and I probably have cancer. But anyways, um, with the facing, all I did, I think I posted it on my Instagram. All I did was I carve out lines horizontally and then vertically, just like hash marks, and then I just pick off with my hands. So it's probably the easiest way to get it. You know, this kind of like rocky facing. So you don't really have to use a hot wire cutter. I did this little like big pipe here. You can put like a little model or two, makes it look like they're coming from the side. So I imagine that the chaos side is going to be coming from here. So the cultists will be arriving through the storm drain, and then coming down, we'll have chaos knights kind of in this big area. Right here will most likely be the Grey Knights fighting against chaos. And then I'll have the Space Marine players here fighting off against the orcs over here. This is a big ass space right here. This is where the boat will go, so the boat will be back. It's gonna be its last hurrah. So yeah, this is the boat with the orcs coming down the side. I think all my orcs should fit in this corner relatively well, because this is my list. And if my list fits all here, then it should definitely fit right here. So at first I was worried, but now I think I'm okay. But back to this like thing here. Right in the middle here, I'm gonna have a little resin pour, probably half an inch. This little like pool is an inch because it's the foam layer is an inch. I don't want a full inch. I think I'm just gonna do half an inch of a resin pour. I have someone coming in doing that for me, a professional, because I'm pretty sure I just messed that up pretty bad. And then this will all be like a cool turbo dork, like color shift kind of thing. I kind of want to make it like a Blackstone Fortress shard or something. I don't know, something interesting, something dope, coming out of like a warp portal or pool or void or something of that sort. So that's pretty much what I got. And all this again was done with a buzzsaw. So I just literally went, and created a lot of noise and probably pissed off my neighbors by spilling out carcinogens everywhere. But anyways, yeah, this is it here. On the tippy top, I have one of those Age of Sigmar endless spells. It's like the spiky ball with the skull. So that's going to sit right on top to make it look more evil. And yeah, it's just all going to be color shift, like a metallic purple blue coming out of a purple void. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the display. I'm going to go to a trophy shop. I'm going to get a little title for it. I think I'm going to call this piece the Void War. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the board itself. But for making a board, it's easier than a lot of people like to think. Most people think it's a little too much, but honestly, like all you need to do is just get plywood, cut it in half. You don't even have to do like a frame or anything. I do a frame because I like having it all look contained. But yeah, a piece of plywood, get your sandbag or whatever basing materials you can scavenge, and the materials are pretty easy because I'll show you what I use for the most part. XPS foam you can get at Home Depot. The sheets, I think there's like a 2x2 sheet that you can buy, 1 inch, that's really cheap. It's like probably like $8 or something. But for this project I went out and I bought the 4x8 sheets. I believe the 2-inch 4x8 sheet is like $50, and the 1-inch 4x8 is, I think, somewhere around 20 something. But you definitely have enough left over for other projects. I do want to do kind of a trench table with the remaining 2-inch foam layer that I have. I think that'd be pretty cool, especially if I just use a buzzsaw. But yeah. But it's pretty easy. Yeah, like I said, if you want this rocky kind of facing, all you have to do is just score those lines. Probably I use a utility knife, half an inch in, and then just little hash marks and peel with your hands. To glue it all together, the foam, I use Elmer's Glue All. This chug here, I think this was like $15 on Amazon. I didn't even go through all of it. I still have enough for other projects. That usually gets glued down. Some pieces that aren't foam or certain things like the PVC pipe I use in the corner or just like little pieces here and there, I do use hot glue. I don't recommend hot glue for like gluing entire pieces down. Um, and I don't recommend like a super duper industrial kind of hot glue gun. So this is the kind I use. This is an Arrow TR50 550, whatever. But this thing burns really hot. So if I do use this for foam, I use it like right before it gets really hot. So that way it doesn't burn the foam, because it will burn the foam, and you don't want XPS foam to be all burnt up. Next thing that I use, gap filler. I use two types here. This stuff I use for, most of the gaps. This is just your spackling the, drywall shit. And then I use this for other seals, things that are bigger. But yeah, you want a gap sealer because there's certain parts. Oh, there's a truck. There's certain parts that you want sealed. For instance, again, like looking at that pipe over there at the end, I had to use a gap sealer to just make sure that it looks all flush. Certain parts of the layers didn't kind of fit right, so I had to use that as well. So just get gap filler, pretty easy, cheap stuff. Paint. So this will all be painted. Before you do that though, so you get the glue down, sand it, and then you have to do another layer of glue, probably like a 3-to-1 PVA to water, and then let it dry maybe like overnight. If you're really impatient like I am, I just stole my fiance's hair dryer, and I just set it somewhere and put certain pieces, because some pieces in certain places dry faster than others, so depending on how much glue you use or like if it's in the crevices. So I use the hair dryer to kind of accelerate that. I wouldn't recommend using like a heat gun. Those might be too hot and they might melt the foam. So once you get that PVA glue down, sand, and then the watered down sand, it's all dried, it's good to go. You grab a paintbrush. This is literally the brush I use for everything: glue, PVA, paint. All you got to do is just wish it around if you think it's all dry, and if you don't hear any like pebbles or anything like scraping off, then you're good to go for paint. But not yet. Well, depending. If you want to just go paint, there's some options that you can do. I think the safest option, if you're going to use XPS foam, is where is it at? There it is. Is these two together. Just smash them together. Black Mod Podge creates a nice seal, a nice little shell, and then you can use your regular spray paints. Because if you once you do the PVA layer and cover everything, the foam soaks up a lot of that second layer, that watery layer, and if you use a normal, spray can, thinking that you've sealed it, most likely it'll eat away at certain parts. For bigger projects, obviously, I don't think you can get that 100% seal coverage. I don't even do it, or I don't even get that seal on like smaller projects. So I always go in with the Mod Podge. But if you think you got it, you can go in with the spray paint. I like the Home Depot brand of spray paint. It's cheap and it covers really well and it dries super fast. But I do recommend the Mod Podge and the black paint, or even just Mod Podge. If you just Mod Podge this whole thing, and then you can go with these spray primers. There is another route as well that I'm trying. This is Liquitex spray paint. This is water-based. There's like little to no acetone in it, so it will not melt foam. I've already tried it out on some pieces, and it's pretty good. I don't think I'd use an entire can for it. I think I just still go with the Mod Podge in black, and then I spray this over, just to kind of cover my bases. But for paint, that's what I use. And then once I know I got that perfect seal, I will just go with regular spray cans. So Army Painter cans are pretty good. I started using Color Forge, which is really nice. They have big cans. One can should cover all of this. And then I use that same dry brush, or not not dry brush, but I use the same brush to just dry brush lighter coats. So I'll have a video on painting after this gets sealed and done. And then I also often like to use pigments for certain layers here. So I have an AK pigment of like this sand, so it's really nice. But yeah, that's it. This overall took maybe like, I started putting the pieces together last Saturday. Today is Thursday, so it's been a couple days already. So almost a week. I should be done by a week. I'll have the resin coming in on Friday, so I'll show you that. And yeah, aside from the board and this stupid ridiculous stuff, I do have to repaint some of these boys. Some of these boys look, in my eyes, maybe you can tell me I'm being dumb, but in my opinion, some of these boys look better than others. So for instance, I have one unit that I have with Gaz, and I'll compare him to like another random dude in a unit. So let's see. So boop, boop, boop. So let's see if I can get a good view here. Oop, can I zoom in on the orc? No. Well, anyways, maybe if I like zoom in a bit. This camera's being all finicky. There we go. Boom. All right. So this is like, I don't want to say showcase level orc, but this is the orcs that I do put in showcases, and you know, this is like one of them. Just a regular boy, but I do little highlights and like little things here and there. I'll show you another. Let's see. Like right here. So when I went to like the GW Open, I had a unit of 20 boys, so I painted this fresh unit up, and they look pretty good. This is like the normal boy that I've had for a while, because I really don't want to paint 100 and something orcs this way. So this is how most of them look, and if you compare the two, I think there's a difference. It's pretty big in my opinion. Many people just told me I shouldn't care, but I do. And if they're all going to be on the table representing my team and, you know, all this stuff, I want to make sure that I can provide the best for my team. So I will be painting almost 80 orcs. I think all I really need to do is go back with the teeth, do some highlights on the belts and the clothing, and then there's another layer of a light green that I use. I think this top layer is grotesque green from Army Painter. This is probably like the color right below it. So I just really have to do that. I don't think it's going to take that long. It should take me maybe a day. I say that and then I'm probably wrong, and it'll take me longer than I expect, and then I'll get mad. But that's a problem for me. I do have to paint another unit of 20 boys to fill out the 120. So those are actually on the table right now. What else do I have going on here? If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, which you should, this is my Ghazghkull proxy, by the way. Or not proxy, but this is my Ghazghkull model, but this is my Death Skulls Warlord. So he's pretty cool. I like him. I don't have Makari. I have Zakari, who is a ganger. So it's his like human advisor and ganger. So she hangs out with him instead. What else have I done here that's a little different that I haven't shown yet? A pain boy. Here we go. I made a pain boy, which is pretty cool. This is a metal knob, a commando knob. I gave him the buzzsaw arm from the knob kit. His head is from an old metal mega knob, and then he has like a shit ton of bits just to make him look like a commando pain boy or something. So he's pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically it. Working on display board, green tide, stupid stuff. Display boards are cool. I would recommend one if you're going out to events. You don't have to do anything fancy. A board with sand will do, especially if your army just looks really nice. Just because you have a display board doesn't mean you will automatically be pushed up into a war contention. In all honesty, a display board could be more of a detriment than an actual help if it looks like crap. So it's very hard to make a display board not look like crap. But just be aware that it's another piece that you are offering to be judged. So you need to make sure it's to that level to be judged accordingly. So that's all I really have to say about the displays. XPS foam, this kind of foam, especially if you get the 2x2 sheets, is very easy to work with. The 1-inch foam is very easy. You don't have to have a hot wire cutter. You can just use a regular utility box cutter knife. It'll cut just fine. To make the rock facing, you just have to score and tear with your hands. It's very therapeutic. And if you need to sand anything down, regular sandpaper will do. I use these sanding discs from like a sander, so it works just fine. Hot glue, PVA, Mod Podge, your spray paints that you probably already own. That's all you really need for a display board. But yeah, if you have any questions on the display boards or just anything in general, please feel free to leave a comment below. I always like helping out. After this display board, I will be making one for the Bay Area Open, which will carry over to my events in the summer. At the moment, I have 2 events underneath my belt. I have Cali Cup, which was in November, and then I have Palm Springs Open. The California Team Championship is coming up this next weekend, and then I'll probably do an event in LA, and then I'll do another event. I think Dice Hammer puts out their own Palm Springs event, which is better in my opinion. In July, I think I might travel to Texas to see my family and do the FLG event over there. Tacoma sounds pretty cool, so we'll see what the future has in store. It might not be Orcs. I think for Hobby Track, you only have 4 events that it tracks, your 4 highest. So I might just do this event and another event, and if it's 4, then I'll stop and pivot to Emperor's Children. I've gotten so much like prize support winnings that I essentially have a new army that is just still in boxes, so I need to do something about that. Which sucks though, because 11th edition is coming around the corner, and Orcs are supposedly in the starter box, so that'll be fun. But anyways, that's it for my rambling. Again, thank you so much for all your support, and I wish y'all the best. Comment, like, subscribe. Check me out on Instagram at BromanCruise. It's in the description as always, and I'll catch you on the flippy floppy. See ya.